Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share my first update on my experience with the HP Victus. This is HP's brand new lineup of laptop here in 2021 for those of you on a budget, and I think they've done a really good job, at least initial impressions. Build quality is good, the keyboard is solid. I like that we have, of course, a numerical keypad, fairly large trackpad here, touchpad, which is also nice. The 16-inch Full HD matte IPS panel is fine. It's not going to blow you away, but it's totally serviceable. There is a little bit of screen wobble going on. If you caught my unboxing, you already know about that. I don't think it breaks it, and by that I mean I don't think it will, be something that you should avoid. It's not a flaw in build. It's something a lot of manufacturers do. My Asus G15, which is a $2,000 laptop, also has screen wobble, not as crazy as the Victus, but remember the Victus starts at around $799 and tops out with basically what you're about to see me talk about here, this custom-built Victus at around 1,400 US dollars. So you can go anywhere from a Core i5 11th gen Intel processor up to, I think, i7, like the one in here, the 11800H, 8-core CPU that we have, is the top of the line for the Victus. And then we've got 32 gigs of RAM. That is user upgradable for those of you that are wondering. So that's nice. I haven't opened it up yet, but I do know that much. A 1 terabyte Intel SSD with 32 gigs of Optane. So solid performance from that. No question. We already know that outperforms most. And this does support, I believe, Gen 4 NVMe SSDs. So if that matters to you, that is one of the areas that Intel absolutely has going for it when it comes to the battle against AMD and which you want to make your next purchase, which company you're going with. Battery life seems to be between 4 and 5 hours based on my usage so far, which is not bad. Very close to the Omen 15, which I think this is definitely positioned beneath. But let's take a look and a listen to the display, and of course then I'm going to start talking about the NVIDIA RTX 3050 Ti that's under the hood. But you can start all the way as low as a 1650 and go all the way up to a 3060. So let's take a look and a listen. Brightness is at 100%. Verify that, it is. And I'll take you through the range right now also. That's as dark as it's going to get. Going a little too fast. Back to peak brightness, which I think is a little under 300 nits. Okay, I think you get the picture. The speakers aren't going to blow you away, but they're solid. They're loud. They're not amazing, but I think they're serviceable, which is what you expect at this price point. The display, minor backlight bleed that is only really noticeable in a completely dark room. I have seen that, but even my Asus G15 has that. It's part of the territory when it comes to dealing with an IPS display. Let me give you a sample of what audio literally sounds like, so you get some speaking, some talking heads, aka me in this case, so this way you have a reference point for that as well. And I'll just double check, but I know I did. Volume is all the way up, so take a listen to this. The Omen 15 update. Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share my first update on my experience with the HP Omen 15 for 2021. Now this is a very budget-centric model, $1199 US. In fact, since I put up my unboxing, it already sold out. We've got an AMD Ryzen 5 5600H 6-core processor. And I'm going to stop it right there because at the opening of that video, you kind of get a very important piece of info, which is that clearly, if you don't have to have the 16-inch display that this comes with, as well as the keyboard with the actual full numerical keys, then the Omen 15 is probably a better option, but that's if you can get it. And so that is where I think the Victus takes a different role. Here is the Omen 15, very similar aesthetics, very similar build quality, but this model is Ryzen driven. And take a look at that keyboard, then take a look at this one. There's a big difference. I mean, almost the same footprint, but I feel like you are getting more with the Victus. Larger touchpad, check that out. It is larger. And again, build quality almost identical. No real screen wobble with the Omen, so if you don't want screen wobble, you know where to go. Battery life right now seems a little bit inferior to the Omen, believe it or not. But again, Omen availability is the big if. This you can get right now from HP or from Best Buy. I will include links in the description. And that's a game changer because availability is king right now. While it's great to talk about that, the Omen with the Ryzen and the 3060 over there is a phenomenal purchase and arguably the best for the money. I would say one of two that are the best for the money right now in the market. That's if you can get it. This particular build at around $1,400, I wouldn't tell anyone to run out and grab it because I think you're better off getting a 3060. But availability, I keep coming back to. You can see some Time Spy results right there. Respectable, but again, anything with a 3060 is going to outperform this in literally every title you throw at it. The same applies with photo and video editing. The 3050 Ti is as close as you're getting to that 3060, but inherently it's going to come up short. So remember, this is the top of the Victus lineup. The only thing better than it is the 3060 pairing. And yes, it will outperform this, but I think this is going to be a really attractive model when the price drops. So again, fully configured, as I mentioned at the top, 32 gigs of RAM. It's beefy for a budget gaming laptop. And when this is eventually around $1,000, I think this is absolutely going to be incredibly popular. But at present, the most popular versions of this machine, understandably, are the ones under $1,000. So again, to discuss the example of the Best Buy option, you're talking about $799 on sale right now, the same exact build, but different color scheme. I think it's a Best Buy exclusive. It's blue and black. Hello, Best Buy's colors. i5, 8 gigs of RAM, a 3050 as opposed to the 3050 Ti. Not that much of a difference between those two GPUs. 256 gig SSD, significant difference between what's in here, just like with the RAM, 8 gigs versus 32. But again, it is user upgradable. But remember, you're spending $800 before tax. Here, right now, with what's available through HP, again, things are really limited. I'll just recap. We're talking about, I believe, let me just jump on and check, but I think we're talking about, there are two builds in stock. So they've got the $799 build direct through HP, but coupons do exist, so that'll end up undercutting what you can get with Best Buy. You're looking at $799 for an 11th Gen Core i5, a 1650 GPU, 8 gigs of RAM, and 256 gigs of storage. So clearly, I would tell you go get the Best Buy model with the 3050. That's a better buy. Alternatively, they also have a pre-built for $809.99 that is essentially identical, but you can go with the Ryzen 5 processor as opposed to the Core i5. So the point is, I feel like the Victus represents a more affordable and I won't say more customizable, but it's got a pretty broad breadth for a brand new offering in the Omen lineup. Now, the more expensive models like this one, again, you're talking about a starting price of $1,130, and if you configure it like we have here, 32 gigs of RAM, as well as a 1 terabyte, 1 terabyte NVMe SSD, then you're paying a pretty big premium for that jump, and I'm not sure that jump is worth it. I mean, I'm gonna use this more. So far, haven't been playing that many games, just the usual suspects here. But Cyberpunk will be on it soon. It's just been Rust and Call of Duty for now. But so far, I think it's a pretty good option. I mean, if the 3050 puts out very similar numbers to this, and I think it will, then I can't see saying that it's not worth $799. And when it comes to, again, overall build quality, the keyboard has good travel. It's a really nice machine. I mean, I think in some ways it's preferable in terms of the look to the Omen 15. But again, when it comes to performance, the Omen 15 is the winner, but you're also spending more. The I/O on here is solid. That's another thing that makes it attractive. And as I stated earlier in the video, you're getting better battery life than the Omen 15 too, which is surprising because AMD generally has been taking the crown with that. But some way or another, the Intel 11th Gen i7 in here is doing a solid job. But between Ethernet, HDMI out, the Type A USB, the Type C, you cannot charge through that. For those of you that are wondering, that's unfortunate. Would have liked to have seen that. Your headphone, microphone combo jack. I mean, just good I/O. And it didn't have to be this way because with budget machines, you don't necessarily get good I/O. And then 2 more Type A USB ports. So pretty beefy all around. Again, I think the design of the laptop is where HP gets credit because it's pretty nice. I think I like the look of it more than the Omen. The problem is, as you already know, the performance is not better. But if you're looking for that $799 and possibly eventually this will be $700, I mean, if Best Buy is selling it brand new on sale right now, I think it's reduced from $899. Let me double check. Then, you've got the potential. Yeah, it was $899, so the back to school now holiday. We're past that sale, but we're on to the next one for the holiday weekend that's upon us. Ultimately, this could end up being $700, right? I mean, not this build, but the 3050 with 8 gigs of RAM. Upgrade that RAM. The i5 shouldn't be a bottleneck. It's still a solid CPU. It's not at this level. It's not at the Ryzen level in the Omen 15, but it's not a 5800, but it's still competent enough. And most importantly, the 3050 is decent. A lot of people have been making comparisons to last gen and basically dismissing the 3050. I wouldn't get ahead of yourself on that. I mean, it's still competent. But if you're going to say, should I take a 3060 over it? I will say yes every single time. If your budget doesn't allow you to get a 3060 or availability doesn't let you, this is still going to be serviceable. I had no problem playing either of the games you saw. I'm not worried about any older titles. Cyberpunk I don't expect to be insane, but at medium settings, I don't expect to have problems with this. I don't expect to play it at high, even at full HD with the 3050 Ti, but who knows, maybe I will be shocked. But overall, build quality is good, ventilation's good, it's not too noisy. I mean, underload, different story. The Omen software I didn't talk about on here. You can undervolt this, so that's also nice. So that's something I haven't played with yet. I'll save that for the full review, and we'll know whether or not it's actually worthwhile. Let me just bring the Omen 15 next to it. And of course, they do have an Omen 16 now, which hopefully I will get soon to compare here so that we're not only doing Victus to Omen 15, but, if you can get an Omen 15 in the build that I've been reviewing, my full review is coming very soon for those of you that are curious. Don't worry. I guess it's going to be a good weekend for you. But I still think that's the way to go, but I do prefer the look of the Victus. The screen wobble, if you follow my channel, you already know I don't prefer that. Even though I own the Asus G15, which wobbles too, it doesn't wobble as much as the Victus, and God help them, it better not, because it's not a budget laptop. But overall, I think HP did a solid job introducing a new product at a really affordable price. You'll have to wait for the full review to know whether or not I think it's a must-buy even at $799. I mean, it looks like it, but I need to do more testing before I can say, this is worth picking up as opposed to just biting the bullet on the Omen 15 if availability is there. And of course, there are some other options in the market too. But again, it looks like HP did a solid job with the Victus, and you already heard me say like 4 times. I think the design is really good. I mean, design language is clean, just like with the Omen 15, but I actually like this hinge. If it didn't wobble, that would be the way to make it basically perfect. And I'm sure that's something HP will look at in the product cycle when they go to refresh this. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button, and as usual, please feel free to subscribe, and please stay safe. Later.